Congonhas Airport, São Paulo, Brazil. July 17, 2007 witnesses its deadliest aviation disaster. Airport 800 kilometers away, TAM Airlines Flight 3054 is en route from the southern Airbus A320 in TAM livery flying through dark storm clouds. Brazilian city of Porto Alegre, the Airbus A320 is headed for São Paulo. It was a routine flight from Porto Alegre until it wasn't. As the plane touches down, their worries about landing are only just beginning. Captain Stefan applies reverse thrust to the A320's working engine. The aircraft skidded off the runway, crashed into a warehouse and exploded. 199 lives were lost. A nation was shaken. Among the victims, airline staff, business travelers, and families. What caused this tragic end to a routine flight? Investigators dug into weather, mechanical systems, and human decisions. This wasn't just an accident, it was the result of compounding failures, black box recorder superimposed with question mark and investigation board. A story of missed warnings and ignored recommendations. This documentary retraces the flight path and the failures that followed, a search for answers, justice, and change. This is the story of TAM Flight 3054. Flight 3054 departs from Porto Alegre at 17:16 local time. On board, 181 passengers, 6 crew members, all unaware of the danger ahead. Weather at São Paulo's Congonhas Airport was deteriorating. Steady rain, poor visibility. Runway 35L had recently been resurfaced, but grooves to drain rainwater weren't finished. That day, the runway was known to be slick and treacherous. Captain Henrique Stefanini Di Sacco and First Officer Kleber Lima, both experienced pilots, prepared for landing. The aircraft touched down at 18:54, too far down the runway to safely stop. The braking system failed to engage properly. The plane didn't decelerate. Seconds later, it veered off the runway across a busy avenue. It slammed into a TAM Express building and a fuel depot. Within moments, fire engulfed the aircraft and surrounding buildings. Emergency crews rushed in, but it was too late. The impact killed all 187 on board and 12 people on the ground. News headlines, crying families outside the airport, memorial wall forming. Brazil's SECNIPA launched a full-scale investigation, joined by Airbus and international experts. The black boxes were recovered intact, containing crucial flight data. Initial findings pointed to thrust misconfiguration, one lever in climb. This caused asymmetric thrust, pulling the aircraft forward and sideways. Why would an experienced pilot make such a critical error? Investigators discovered the flight landed with auto brake and spoilers disabled. The crew had relied on a manual braking method used in earlier A320 models. This method required one engine in reverse and the other at idle. But this time, the idle position was never set. The system interpreted that as a go-around. Meanwhile, the runway's wet surface offered almost no friction. A report had already warned authorities about the risks of that ungrooved surface. Yet, the airport remained open for A320 landings, even in rain. The pilots were likely unaware of just how little grip they'd have on landing. Flight data confirmed, after touchdown, the plane accelerated instead of decelerating. The flight crew struggled with braking, but by then, it was too late. Experts criticized TAM's training policies for allowing outdated procedures and questioned why a slick runway was operational during a rainy winter. Regulatory bodies came under fire for ignoring previous warnings. It was a systemic failure, not just a pilot error, and it had claimed nearly 199 innocent lives. Outrage swept across Brazil. Families demanded accountability and reform. Congonhas Airport immediately closed its main runway for safety reviews. Grooving work, long overdue, was quickly completed. New policies were enacted to restrict landings during heavy rain. TAM Airlines overhauled its pilot training procedures and manuals. All A320s in TAM's fleet were audited for thrust lever functionality and brake response. The Brazilian government ordered a national audit of airport safety infrastructure. Families pushed for a permanent memorial to ensure no one would forget. Today, a sculpture and remembrance wall stand beside the crash site. Every July, families gather to remember their loved ones. The tragedy sparked global discussions on modern aircraft automation and pilot training. Airbus issued bulletins to reinforce correct use of manual braking in A320s. Runway safety systems were modernized across South American airports. Yet, many believe the crash could have been prevented long before impact. Flight 3054 is now taught in aviation schools around the world. A reminder that modern planes still rely on human decisions and human error. Even small errors, like a lever left in the wrong position, can have devastating consequences. The crash exposed deep vulnerabilities in airport oversight and airline procedures. Brazil's aviation system slowly transformed, but only after unimaginable loss. Flight 3054's legacy lives in policies, training, and lives possibly saved. It is a painful chapter, but also a warning for future generations. Behind every policy is a story. Behind every improvement, a name. This was not just an accident, it was a call for accountability. Nearly 200 voices were silenced, but their message echoes through the industry. Pilots, regulators, engineers, all changed how they viewed their responsibilities. Every safe landing today carries their legacy. Their story became more than tragedy, it became transformation. Memories guide every pilot's hand and every decision made above the clouds. TAM Flight 3054 remembered not just for how it ended, but what it changed. For the lives lost, for the lessons learned, for the skies made safer,